we started doing that, and everybody started buying hats from him and trying to get in contact with him to get a hold of me. He wouldn't give out any kind of my information. Some man offered him $10,000 for my contact information, and he wouldn't take it. He would not take it.
That's loyalty.
Oh, I know it. He's good as gold.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk to and spit on that thing. You get me?
Thanks to a Nashville Street interview and a not-so-safe for work question, she unintentionally became an overnight sensation and dubbed the Tuah Girl. Within the past month, she's gone from working at a spring factory to sharing the stage with Zach Bryan. I caught up with the small-town 21-year-old to find out how life has been since breaking out of Belfast, Tennessee, and how she's planning to use her newfound fame for good. This is a viral deep dive into Haliey Welch. Walk us through how the infamous video came to be originally.
Okay, so we went to CMA Fest that day, but before then we went to, I think it's called Riverfront, and we watched Megan Moroney perform. And then after that, we went to CMA Fest. We got to see Megan Moroney again and Bailey Zimmerman. Those were the best ones, if you ask me. And then after that, all of our friends wanted to go in the bars. So there was 4 of us all together. And 2 of them went into a bar, and they're like, oh, we'll be back. Because we didn't want to go in there. Me and my friend Chelsea, that y'all seen a whole lot of. So we were like, well, let's just go look around. We'll go look at stores or something. So we crossed the road because this guy was bothering us, and he just would not take a hint, like, to go away. So we walked across the road going to a store, and we seen these guys on the street, and they're like, hey, how are y'all? And I'll talk to anybody. Anybody that speaks to me, I'll speak right back to you. We conversated a little bit with them. They're like, we're YouTubers, you know? So can we ask y'all some questions? We're like, yeah, that's no big deal. Then, never thought I'd see it again, nothing of the sort. About 2 days later, I seen it again.
But you said that you didn't have social media at the time that all of this was happening. So how did you first see the video and you were like, oh, whoa, this is picking up traction?
Our group chat.
Okay.
So I was getting up for work at like 3:30 in the morning, and we have a group chat with our friends in it, and they sent it, and they're like maybe an hour before, and I was like, oh my God, it's out there. Oh my God, that's not good. I was like, well, it's not going to blow up. So I just went on, I didn't think much of it. And so I just went on about my day. I look back and, oh my goodness, at the views and the likes it had, it was something.
It clearly was. And I think, obviously the 5-10 second clip is what was circulated first. And people went off with that. What was your kind of feeling with it? I know then they released, the full interview, the extended director's cut, if you may. What was your reaction of like, okay, Tuah, this is it?
So the first week, after the first video, I was like, okay, well, it's just one video, whatever. He kept going on and just posting more. And I was not doing really good the first week with it. Me and my friend Chelsea both, we did not take that well the first week. Like, I was embarrassed to come out of my house, go to work, anything of the sort. But after that, I got to thinking, I was like, you know what? After as many he's already posted, I'm not fazed by it. He just kept on posting them. So I was like, whatever. And so I got an attorney, after that. Because I was like, everybody else is making money off of it with merchandise, and he's making money off the videos. I was like, that's not fair. Like, it's me. Why am I not making any money? So I went and I got all my act together, and here I am.
And here you are. That's right. So, talk about the amount of imposter accounts, the amount of unauthorized merch I had seen. Like I said, it was a who's who of who is actually Haliey and who is not. At the time, we didn't even know, what was your actual name. I know you had mentioned that, people had found your Visco and they were pulling off pictures of there acting like you, your Snapchat. When you mentioned that first week was a little rough, when were you kind of picked up and you were like, no, I'm going to do something with this?
So the second video he posted, I was in my garden, and all my cousins, we communicate. We're all really close. And I was up there in the garden with my favorite boy cousin, Hunter. And then my other cousin that we're really tight with, KK, she gave him a call while we were up there. Because she knew I didn't have my phone or anything because we were off in the garden. She called him and said, there's another video. And I was like, are you serious? We pulled it up, and I think it was I love you, Pookie. It was that one, I was like, are you serious?
Leave a message to your last body.
I love you, Pookie, forever. So I was like, all right, Granny, get in the car. We're going home. So I went in my room and I just cried. It was a rough few weeks. But after that, we're fine.
And I know that you partnered up with like a local, what is it, a hat distributor to make the first iteration of Tuah merch. And I know, that was kind of the first form of social media or like mode of contact that people maybe had to you.
Yep.
What was it like, selling the hats first and then having the people reach out, trying to find you, I guess, through that person who was making the hats?
So I've known him just about my whole life. Like, he's a really close family friend, and he's a really good guy. Probably the greatest one you'd ever meet, out here at least. But he reached out to me when I was at work, and he was like, hey, like, you could say no anything if you want to, but I want to ask your permission to do some hats with you, and I'll give you, like, a share of it. And I was like, yeah, because he had the decency to ask. But we had a few, like, places around town that were selling, like, merch, like Tuah shirts and stuff like that. They never asked my permission if that was okay. So I was like, okay, well, he's decent enough to ask me if that was okay. So, yeah, he can do that.
So then, a couple weeks are going by, and then Zach Bryan comes into town. And I just have to say, when I saw the clip of you on stage singing Revival, I know Zach has brought a lot of cool people out this tour to sing that song. At least for me personally, I talk about breaking the internet. Like, what a way to, like, go from complete anonymity, at least on a social media perspective, to then being on one of the biggest stages in Nashville with one of the hottest artists right now. I need to know how did that link up connection happen?
So that's when I found, like, my managers and everything. They're like, you know what? We're not going to launch your social media just yet. And we're just going to say, surprise! And, like, there you are on stage with Zach Bryan. And I was like, okay, you know what? That sounds kind of fun. So that's what we did. I just walked out and I was like, hey.
No, I love it.
Nobody could find me on anything. And then there I was.
No, and it was amazing. And, you got to chat with Brianna. That was kind of like your first formal, like, interview, I guess you could say. And you really got to, like, clear up a lot of things. I think this whole month of, you not being on social media, all of these different rumors and things were swirling. And you kind of came out and you used that podcast as an opportunity to clear the air. You launched your official social platforms, which over 1 million followers already, 1.7 million. Haliey, come on. Like,
oh, I know it.
Incredible. I think, what was it, the same weekend as the Zach Bryan concert, you linked up with another person, Mr. Shaquille O'Neal. What was that like? Another stage that you made your debut on.
Shaq is everything he is, like, made up to be. Like, he's the most genuine person. He's like a big teddy bear. Like, I was a little scared of him at first because, he's a big man, and I just kind of looked at him and I was like, okay, he's a little intimidating. He's so big. But he's everything you can imagine. He's a great guy. He's really great. He asked, like, me and my friend Chelsea, he was like, well, what do y'all think about it? And we were like, well, you got mean comments here and there. And he was like, okay, well, pull out your phone. And I was like, okay, well, where's this going to go? And he said, pull up a video. And I pulled him up a video, and we went to the comments, and there was one on there. It was like, what was it? Her videos are getting old or something like that. I wish I could tell you what he said, but I just can't do it. I cannot tell you. But it was something that I'm probably going to remember the rest of my life. And that's just kind of how I look at life now.
Oh, that's so good. I know you've constantly been describing it as, like, it's a blessing. You've turned this thing into this completely beautiful opportunity for you. Just within, like, the past couple weeks, you've gone on an airplane for the first time. You visited New York City. You've been shot by paparazzi. Like, what was this past weekend in New York, how was it for you?
It was really different. So our roads here, they're really rough, but those there, we were in like a Sprinter van. Any kind of bump we would go over, I would fly up out of the seat. Like, it was rough riding in that thing. But it's really big. I've never got to go anywhere that big. But Nashville, it's got like a whole bunch of like people off in it and everything else. But it don't have anything on New York. Like, it was really, really crowded down there. I thought it was kind of strange, but
we're not in Belfast anymore. I can tell you that.
I know it.
So you had mentioned, shortly after the video went viral, you quit your job at the Spring Factory. Mm-hmm. You're raised by your grandmother, who you've lived with since you were 9 months old. I know there was kind of this talk of, oh, is she moving to LA? Is she moving to New York? But I've also heard that you're staying local. Where are we
staying
going?
local. I'm not going anywhere. This is my home. It's been my home my whole life. I'm not going anywhere.
I
I'm
love
gonna
it.
travel around and everything, but I'm not gonna move there. It's
Yeah.
too busy everywhere else. It's not busy here at all. So I like it here.
You really put this emphasis on blending comedy and philanthropy, and you really want to, like, like I said, use your platform for good. I know you posted a video recently of you visiting a local animal shelter and donating food, and animals I know are a really close cause to you. What are you hoping to do kind of in that realm with your platform?
So PetSmart actually, they messaged me about 2 days ago, and they were like, "Hey Haley, we want to match like what you bought in one of our stores, and you can donate it to whichever animal shelter you want to." So we're working on that right now, and we're going to donate to my animal shelter here in town because they need some help. But we're going to do some more work with that. I think when we go to LA, we're going to feed the homeless, and then we're wanting to do something for the veterans too.
I love
But
that.
we're getting all this planned out. But that's more my area. I want to do more charity, if that makes sense.
And I gotta know, you had said, you've kind of teased a podcast, we've teased a reality show. What's, aside from helping, what's on that side?
I would like to do a podcast later on, but I want to like get comfortable with it first. Like going and being on other podcasts, like with women. I love the women. Let me tell you, I'd be more comfortable with the women than I would men. So, but
So,
we're gonna get comfortable doing that, and then we'll see where we can go from there.
well, Haley, thank you so much for this. You, like I said, I know you're the hottest ticket in town right now, so it means a lot that you're sitting down to chat with us. So we really
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
for having me.